I wanted to talk about this for a while now. As you can probably tell from the title, I'm reviewing an anime called Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. And this is a very old anime. It came out like before I was born. And it's one that it's been around for a while. I've known about it since I was a kid, just never really sat down to look at it. And so about 4 or 5 years ago, I decided, I'll watch the first episode. And I actually kind of loved it a little. But 5 years later, it took me a while to get through it all. So, yeah, that alone is an indicator. It's 39 episodes, yet it took me years to get through it. So, keep that in mind. Overall, it's a pretty decent storyline. It was very interesting. It was one that, like, even when I wasn't watching it, it was still on my mind. And, like, there are other anime that are even shorter than this that take me even longer to get through, or that I don't even finish. So the fact that I finished it at all, that's actually kind of rare for me. Other than the simulcast, which, those are kind of easy to keep up with because it's on a regular schedule thing, whereas this, it's like having to find time to force myself to watch it. And so, yeah, this one, it's the first anime outside of the simulcast that I've actually finished in 2015. So, we're already off to a good start here. But overall, it's a pretty decent show. It's got a lot of really good characters, and it's very interesting to watch, but oh my god, I hate it. For one specific reason. I kind of hate the title character. Nadia, she's this girl who has this magical stone called the Blue Water, and there's this guy named John, and he's from France, and he meets Nadia one day, and he helps her escape from some bad guys, and he promises to help take her back to her homeland of Africa, and it just starts this wild and crazy, incredible journey, and oh my god, at first I loved the show, and I think for like the first 10 episodes, everything about it was perfect. I couldn't have a single complaint. But we start getting to episode 20. As the further we go into the show, the more I hate Nadia. Oh my god, she's such a self-centered bitch. There's a lot of little things. Just like the fact that she's like a vegan, which I have no problem with. You do whatever makes you happy in your life. But she's one of those don't hurt Mother Earth type vegans, which is just stupid. Because it's like, how dare you kill an innocent animal? But technically, vegetables are considered living organisms too. They're born, they grow, they reproduce. By the scientific definition of life, that head of lettuce is just as alive as any cow that you would eat. Just saying. Just because we can't understand any thoughts and feelings that they have, like we can understand humans or maybe animals, doesn't mean that they don't have thoughts and feelings. Just keep that in mind. You are technically killing these vegetables. That still counts as murder, really. Just saying. That's just one of the things about life. Unfortunately, in order for you to live, something else has to die. That's just how life works. That's the cruelty of nature. Deal with it, you stupid brat. Grow the fuck up. But yeah, and a lot of other things that I don't want to talk about because there are a couple of things that happen in the later episodes I'm actually starting to like her again. I don't mind her anymore. And then she turns bitch mode all over again. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? How can you do that? And the whole time I'm watching this, I just feel so sorry for John because all he did was fall in love with the wrong girl. That's all he did wrong. We've all been there. And, I spent half the series thinking, okay, all of their lives would be so much better if they just never met Nadia. Then again, she's kind of like the key to all of this weird shit that's happening. So if they hadn't met her, well, there would really be no show. She is the title character after all. But still, that's beside the point. Overall, though, it's a great show, and it got to a point where I kind of had to force myself to sit down and watch it because I really wanted to just be done with it. And so it's like force myself to watch it just so I don't have to look at it anymore. But then I get to like the last 5 episodes because it got to a point where it's like, okay, watch one episode a day just to make sure we get through it. It was like, but it ended up actually being like one episode a week. Until like this morning where I watched the last 5 episodes because I sat down, I watched one, and it was great. I had to go on to the next one, and they all just, I mean, it was a great ending. They wrapped it up fantastically. There was some parts where I was like, really? Are you sure about that? I mean, there were a few things here and there that irked me, especially like the last 4 minutes. Like there was like the worst part about the show is like the what happens next segment where like after everything ends we find out like what happened to the people who survived, because there are people in the show who died, and for the people who did survive, you know, it tells you what happened with their lives. And there were parts in that segment where I was like, ew, gross, no, why would you do this? But it doesn't really change the fact that I think it's definitely worth it. For me personally, watching this show was an exercise in patience. There were parts where it was hard to tolerate, but overall, just looking at the entirety of the show as a whole, you know, it's a great concept, very imaginative. It's got a lot of good humor. It's got a great story. It's got this really fantastic adventure that these kids go on, and it's just, I think it's worth it. Like if you have the time to sit there and like dedicate to actually being able to finish this, I don't recommend doing it all in one go because it's like 40 episodes. But like it's worth it. You know, however long it takes you to sit through it, I honestly do think it's worth sitting there all the way through to the end. And I can't say that about a lot of anime. So I think this is one that I do think I can recommend. Definitely check out 1 or 2 episodes when you can, and if you like it, you know, check out 1 or 2 more episodes and just keep going, just trudge on through it.